Hey everybody, you're looking at the sun. This is March the 22nd, 2023. You might see some blinks, the sun giving us some blinks or some winks. If you do, then you're just receiving activations from the sun. And that's a good thing because you need that. We all need it. I'm not going to talk very long today, but I did want to talk about something that has been going around that's kind of a little bit disturbing to me. And so I just wanted to make a video about it and share my experiences and what I receive about this particular subject. And the subject is Morgellons and transhumanism. Now that's not a a very popular word. I mean, it's the transhuman agenda. We know is part of the powers that be's plan to turn us all into transhumans so they can control us, right? A lot of people are saying that Morgellons is a sign of transhumanism. If you have, I saw somebody say on a video, if you have Morgellons, you're turning into a transhuman. Well, I'm not saying that I know everything about this transhuman because I don't know anything about it, but I know that is not true. Well, it's partially true and then it's not true. And let me explain what I'm talking about. Yes, we know that the nanotechnology that the powers that be have implanted inside the bodies of everybody on Earth, we know that their ultimate goal is to turn us into transhumans so they can control us. Mind, body, and soul, okay? That's the purpose of the nanotechnology. We know that. And everybody has it because you breathe it in. It's everywhere. It's in everything. The air, the food, the water. So everybody has the nanotechnology. And like I said, their main goal is to turn us into transhumans so that they can control us like robots. And here's the key point. I have Morgellons, okay? My body is rejecting the nanotechnology. My body is rejecting all of these strange substances that are coming out of the body, which is nanotechnology. For the past over 20 years now, my body has been rejecting and ejecting those little sand particles that we know is smart dust or nanocomputers. My body has been rejecting and ejecting that. My body has been ejecting these filaments, these colorful filaments that are coming out of the skin. My body has been rejecting those little rock-looking things or look like little pieces of metal. My body has been rejecting and ejecting that. My body has been ejecting that white fungus-like substance that comes out of the skin, that white, I call it the fungus or the biofilm. My body has been rejecting and ejecting that. My body has been rejecting this gel-like, sticky gel-like substance from the skin. What they call that, I think they're calling that the hydrogel now. My body's been rejecting and ejecting that. My body has been rejecting and ejecting things that look like insects from my body. It's been rejecting other little things that look like little pieces of sticks, or just crazy looking. My body has been rejecting and ejecting this nanotechnology that they have implanted inside my body for over 20 years now, okay? So, and I know what you're saying, you're saying, oh, that's just your opinion. But no, it's not just my opinion. This has been my experience, okay? I'm not speaking here from my opinion. I'm speaking from what I have experienced with Morgellons. My body is rejecting the nanotechnology, and it's spitting it out. It's coming out through my skin. It's coming out through my nose. It's coming out through my eyes. It's coming out through my ears. It's coming out through all the openings in my body. But mainly it comes out through the skin. And when it comes out through the skin, it breaks through the skin and it causes sores, painful sores all over the body. What's my point? My body is ejecting this nanotechnology. It's not taking it in, it's rejecting it. You see my point? So yes, the purpose for the nanotechnology is for the main goal of transhumanism. That's the purpose for the nanotechnology. I agree with that. That's what they want. But if your body is rejecting the nanotechnology, then that makes the whole transhuman agenda a failure for those who have Morgellons. Okay. Now, like I said, everybody don't have to agree with this. I'm speaking from my experience. This is my experience. Okay. So, for people to go around saying, oh, you have Morgellons, so you're turning into a transhuman. No, I am not turning into a transhuman. And part of that, and part of that in my belief is that this transhuman thing, I believe it's going to be a choice, an individual choice, okay? I don't believe that just because the powers that be are trying to force it on us, that everybody's going to be a transhuman. No, I don't believe that. I think it's going to be an individual choice that people are going to make. Okay? And I also believe that eventually everybody on the planet is going to experience this Morgellons in some type of way. I believe that the body, for the human being, I believe that there's going to come a time in every individual's life on the planet that their body is going to try to reject this nanotechnology. Why? Because it's not human. It's not supposed to be there. And this is how I feel about it. Back in 1999, when I was stricken down with Morgellons, and I use that word lightly, but actually, I was literally stricken down with this disease, okay? It almost killed me. But when I was stricken down with this disease, back in 1999, my body, and I knew this, okay? Nobody had to tell me. I knew my body was alerting me. When I started having the crawling sensations in my head and the stinging sensations, it's like my body, or the DNA in my body, was triggered. And my DNA was saying, hey, hello, there's an intruder here that needs to be removed. That's exactly the way I saw it back then. And that's the way I see it now. So I see Morgellons as a way of triggering the body and alerting the body to an intruder. Because the intruder was being rejected and it was coming out of my body. And so once I realized this, that there was an intruder in my body, I started helping my body. You understand what I'm saying? My body was calling on me to help it, to remove this intruder in my body. So I started doing the Epsom salt baths. I started doing the treatments. I started finding any way I could to remove this intruder from my body. I did my research. I was always online. I was always trying to find it. Back then, there wasn't much information about Morgellons. I believe I was just one of the first ones to get it. But I hung in there, and I continued to do my research, and I continued to stay in contact with anybody online that I could find that had this. You know, and that's how we, a lot of us, a bunch of us, just diagnosed ourselves. We knew we had Morgellons, okay? Did we know what it was and what was causing it? No, we didn't know anything about it back then. But I did know enough to know that there was an intruder in my body that had to be removed. I knew that. Okay. So that's when I started, like I said, doing the treatments. That's when I started taking the supplements and looking for things. That's when I started experimenting with everything to try to find what would remove these foreign substances from my body because they did not belong there. Okay. So, for those, and those people who may believe, well, Morgellons is transhumanism, well, I guess if you want to be a transhuman, you know, if you want to be a transhuman, then of course you got a right to be. But in my opinion, a transhuman, and I looked it up. I looked up some. I did Google because I didn't know the definition of a transhuman. But when I looked it up, it said, what was that man? There's a 2030 goal to have everyone turn into transhumans by the year 2030. And in there, he explains transhumanism as being some people who have a lot of. He said it's people who's going to have like a cosmopolitan outlook where they're going to they're going to accept they're going to accept everything in society, and they're just going to everything's going to be, and which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But then he goes on to say that it's going to be people who have a lot of plastic surgery. And I thought, well, that's not fair. I mean, you can't say that, because you can't say that every person that's had plastic surgery is a transhuman. You can't say that. But I think what he meant was that people who are like excessive with it, people who have so much plastic surgery that they literally alter and transform their body into something else, a transhuman or whatever. I think that's what he's talking about. And then he says it's going to be people who have prosthesis. And I stopped there. I said, prosthesis? Well, he's not talking about people who have lost limbs and have to have a prosthesis implanted in order to function. No, he's not talking about that. He's talking about people who intentionally remove their human limbs and replace them with prosthesis so that they can have a more highly technological and advanced body, so that they can have that they can be bigger and stronger and more powerful and smarter. And that's what he's talking about. So in reading this definition of transhumanism, I got the conclusion that it's going to be a choice that people are going to make. And he also said something about it's going to involve such people who are both male and female. I can't even think of what you call it now. But he says they're going to be androgynous. Okay? Androgynon is a person who has both male and female reproductive organs. Now, some people, don't get me wrong, some people are born that way, and they can't help it. But then other people, they have surgery to change themselves and turn themselves into androgynous, okay? And so if this person's definition or this outlook for 2030, if this is the definition of transhumanism, then you can definitely count me out. And he also said the very last signs of a transhuman is they have no religious beliefs whatsoever. That cuts me out. I definitely believe in God. I believe in God. I believe in the Bible. I believe the Word of God and in the power of God. So, of course, that's just one definition, and I'm sure that over time that's going to expand into all kind of things. But the point I'm making is, yes, the Morgellons, or the nanotechnology that causes Morgellons, is the main goal for transhumanism. But when your body starts spitting out the Morgellons or the nanotechnology, you're not going to be a transhuman. No. No. Especially if you believe in God. Now, me, I'm working on creating my light body. I know I have a light body, and I know that we have to have a light body to live in the new earth, okay? So I'm working on creating my original, innate light body, not one that's going to come from advanced technology to where they have to put a fake web skin on top of my skin and create an interface skin so that I can have a lot. No, 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 no. I'm talking about my inner light, my God light, that you can wake up inside of you and you do it yourself. You don't need technology to do it, okay? And that's another thing that my body rejected, is that web-like skin, that forms over your original skin that William Henry talks about, that biofilm is what it is, biofilm, and it's a real subtle light skin, and it's like a web that forms over your body in order to allow your body to be interfaced with this technology. So, yeah, and if you have Morgellons, I'm sure you probably found picked those little stringy, like spiderwebby looking things off of your skin. A lot of times it comes off in the bathtub when you get a bath, a shower, you get out and you dry off, and this web-like structure, this stringy web-like structure comes off your skin. That's the biofilm. That's the new smart skin that the nanotechnology is creating in order to turn us into transhumans, so that they can, when they raise the frequencies around us, then our bodies just start responding to the frequencies, and we're 100% controlled by the powers that be, remotely. So, yeah, this is what I have experienced, okay? This is what I have experienced with Morgellons, and I have not experienced any of this transhumanism stuff. I have no desire to experience it. I don't want it. And my soul knows I don't want it. So, in my conclusion, I believe that the transhumanist agenda is going to be an individual choice. But I often wonder, though, about when a person's body, if a person wants to be a transhuman, but then the DNA in their body gets triggered by this Morgellons or this nanotechnology, and it starts spitting it out of their body, which I believe is natural. It's not supposed to be there, so naturally your body, starts rejecting it. But I'm wondering, what are these people going to do that want to be transhumans and their body starts rejecting this nano? They're going to have to intentionally continue to fill their body with this nanotechnology. Of course, there's, or you don't even have to do that. All you got to do is just let it build up in the body and just don't remove it. Just don't try to remove it, which is going to be hard to do, because once the DNA gets triggered and you start having the crawling and the itching, you're going to have to do something. I mean, or at least in my case, I couldn't stand it. I was tormented day and night. I had to do something to stop this crawling and this itching, okay? So once it starts, you're going to have to do something to stop it, because if you don't, you're not going to find any rest or peace of mind. So it's interesting times that we're living in, because I'm sitting back and I'm watching and I'm waiting to see what really transpires with this Morgellons, transhumanism, and the nanotechnology. But for me, I am not a transhuman. I've never agreed to be a transhuman. I will never agree to be a transhuman, and I am rejecting it. My body is rejecting it. My soul is rejecting it. I am of the light. And that's pretty much it. I love you guys.